right, another question. He's coming, folks. He's coming.
I like that last question, and
Identify yourself.
Chuck Wickers, Quietwood Drive. I like that last question and where it was going. We've talked about Parkland Mall, $50 for $10. I think over the last 15 years, that property has cost us an awful lot in lost revenues. And I think part of it is because the vindictive nature, the animosity. So going on that question, you're both members of the Chamber of Commerce?
Yes.
Member of Chamber of Commerce?
I'm not.
You know, the question is, you take an oath to be courteous, fair, and impartial, according to the Code of Ethics, and to follow the Code of Ethics that the city has for you. Can you be courteous, fair, and impartial if you've been involved with things for so long and you've shown animosity towards perhaps Parkland Mall? Can you in good conscience move the city forward, especially with that being the cornerstone of the downtown area? And so the question leads into affiliations, strong ties with certain personalities, whether they're positive or negative, alluding to the potential for corporate welfare. What is your philosophy on the Code of Ethics in regards to those important issues and affiliations?
Okay, and I'm going to ask you for a real quick summary of that on behalf of both of them.
Your philosophy on the oath that you take to be courteous, fair, and impartial. And I think you've tried to say that, you know, you don't have ties here or there, but sometimes ties can help, sometimes they can hurt. How can you respond as a mayor to, you know, that question? Do you have ties, and if not, how does that affect your ability or somebody else's ability to run a city?
Okay, you guys got it?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, Scott, you're up.
Well, as in any, you know, when you're in the eye of the public and you take that oath and to, you know, be courteous, fair, and impartial, if you will, to everyone, I think, you know, those words stand for themselves. If you have ties or you don't have ties, that should not make any, you know, have any bearing on doing what's right by the community. So when you talk about any affiliations with any businesses, and getting back to the question previously, is if I'm taking any donations from any, no. And that was one of the reasons why I chose to fund this on my own, so that I could remain neutral and impartial and listen to people and be able to do things that are right by the community, not in the best interest of certain people. And quite honestly, that's one of the reasons why I'm running for this position. I've only been here for a little more than a decade, but I've seen some things that have hit home personally to me that I just don't care for. We have standards in this community, rules, if you will, that are in place for building codes and things like that, and you know, they're not being followed the way they're supposed to. I mean, there's standards, and if anybody wants to talk about that, you know, please come and see me. But at the end of the day, you know, to be impartial, fair, and balanced with everybody is my goal. And if I have a tie or don't have a tie, it doesn't matter to me, because I'm going to look and do what's in the best interest of this community.
Thank you. Luke?
Thanks, Chuck. I'll go to the front of your question first, as far as, do you think somebody can be courteous, fair, and impartial to all parties as far as the oath if they're involved in feuds or, you know, personal bickering back and forth. And I think the human answer is it's hard. When you've been fighting somebody for 10 years at every turn, and sniping behind each other's backs and picking at each other, and you're not going to be able to turn that off just because now you're in a position of authority. Can somebody move on from that? I suppose it's possible. Is it difficult? Absolutely. Do I bring any of that baggage? No, I don't. And as far as the oath in general, the oath is an oath when you're in this office. I like to think, as a Christian, when I have to go look at my kids and I talk to my wife and I see my pastors and I sit on the board of outreach at church and I talk to other parishioners and I talk to other parents, I like to think I act that way regardless if I take an oath or not. At the end of the day, how I conduct myself is how my children see me, and that's the most important thing to me. If there was no oath of office, I would act the exact same way as I do regardless. Courteous, fair, and impartial. Those can't be just words when somebody walk into a mayor's office. You either are or you aren't.
Thank you. Okay. Now, John, you want to?
We're kind of hitting the, I'm sorry, kind of hitting the time limit here, 8:30, so I'd like to see a show of hands if there's any more residents that would like to continue with this forum, and got any other questions you want to bring forward. If not, I think we're going to kind of move to closing then.
Yeah, we will continue to accept questions if you still have questions you want to ask. Okay, so come on up.
My name's Neil Buchholz. I live in South 63, West W 15609 College Avenue. I'd like to thank 2 of the 3 candidates for showing up tonight. Secondly, we have a little problem with some past administrations for making backroom deals. I'd like to know what you think of that, and will we see it again? Thank you very much.
I'm assuming you guys have that one. Okay, Luke, go ahead.
This ties into Chuck's question before. If you're going to uphold the office and you're going to abide by your oath and you're going to be true to the real person you are, there are no backroom deals. There's no pats on the back. There's no special favors for one group or another or one individual or another. My goal, I mentioned it before, is to return government to its roots, to where it should be. I want everybody to see everything. All the stuff that went on in Washington, they say they don't let cameras in because they don't like to see the sausage being made. You know what? You have a right to see how things get done. You put us here. We're going to have to ask you to come back in 2 years, depending, 3 years, 4 years, whenever elections are. And if we can't show you what we're doing something wrong.
Thank you, Luke. Scott?
Sorry about that. Backroom deals, they're not good for the community. Everything needs to be open. Show your hand, discuss it. Again, bringing these opportunities to the community, getting their input and moving them forward. Backroom deals are good for no one. If you're honest, have integrity, these are things that you don't do. You let people know what's happening. I know I do sometimes to a fault. People say, "Oh, it's too much information." I don't know what is too much information. I don't think you can ever have enough. So to answer your question, no backroom deals. It's got to be out in the open.
Thank you.